Hi, I'm Kirsten, and for my network learning project today, I'm going to show you what I learned about yoga. So I decided to teach myself yoga because I've always wanted to take a yoga class, but they're pretty expensive and I have a really busy schedule with teaching, so it's hard for me to kind of fit it in. So I thought that this would be a really good time for me to teach yoga to myself. It went pretty well. I used the Yoga for Dummies video on YouTube, which sounds kind of mean, but I was actually a dummy when it comes to yoga. I really didn't know anything. I also used some forums for help on the poses, and then I found some other videos that weren't that helpful because the instructors were not talking you through the pose, which I found I needed. I needed that scaffolding. I needed them to start slow and then kind of build up into harder poses. One thing I learned, or what I'm going to show you today, is some pieces of the Daily Dozen. That's what the Yoga for Dummies taught me. The Daily Dozen is 12 poses that you should do every day to help yourself become a yoga expert. I'm only going to show you 5 or 6 because I did it first and I did all 12 and the video was 10 minutes long. So I'm going to cut it down a little bit in hopes that it's a little bit shorter and just kind of give you an idea of some of the poses that I learned. One thing about yoga is that when you do it, you're supposed to do it really slow. In the Daily Dozen, they say you should breathe 6 times for each pose, which is a lot, but I'm not going to show you that. I'm only going to breathe 1 or 2 times. And I'm going to start with the mountain pose, which is kind of the basis of all yoga poses. You want to have strong, sturdy base. You want your legs to be bent a little bit. If they're locked, you're not going to get a good blood flow. So what you want to do is you want to breathe in, and you want to lift your arms all the way up, and you want to breathe out and go all the way down. If you wanted to, you could get fancy, throw in a twist. That's good for your spine and for your flexibility. Okay, make sure as you bring your arms down, you breathe out. All right, so the next pose I'm going to show you is the tree pose. Most yoga poses start from this mountain base, so we're going to start in mountain pose. This one requires flexibility. It's really good for your balance. So what you're going to do is you're going to start by bringing your leg, and you're going to start down at your ankle. Okay, bring your arms up here for centering you. If you can, bring it up to your knee. Doing pretty good. And if you can, bring it up to your thigh. I'm not quite there yet. Okay, but you again want to breathe in and out really slowly 6 times. This one's going to help you with balance. I couldn't even do knee before, but now I can. When you're breathing, you kind of forget about the balance piece. All right, the next one I'm going to show you is downward facing dog. This is an inversion pose, which means your head goes below your heart and you get new blood rushing through all of your body. So I'm going to start down here, and I'm going to bring my legs all the way back. If you can, you should put your heels on the floor, and I'm going to drop my head below my heart. And again, I would just breathe in 6 times, kind of arching my back, stretching out my spine. This one's really good for stretching out your back if you have a sore back. The next one I'm going to show you is another favorite of mine for stretching. I picked my favorites to show you. This is child's pose. So you're going to start down on your knees, and for this one you actually want to put your big toes together and stretch your legs out, and that's important so that you can get down as low as possible and stretch your back out. Then you're going to kind of breathe in and stretch yourself out. Okay, this one is really good for stretching, like I said, and as you do this one, you want to do something called a vinyasa, where you breathe in, and as you breathe out, you stretch a little bit further. So you don't want to go into the full child's pose on the first breath. You want to get there by the 6th breath, and you could stay there for a couple extra breaths. I'm going to skip the seated spinal twist just for time, and I'm going to do the final relaxation pose. So if you did the full Daily Dozen, this one's going to feel really good. So for this one, it's literally laying on the ground. But you want to relax all the muscles of your body. Your fingers might curl up, and as you breathe in, you want your stomach to kind of go out towards the sky, and as you breathe out, you want it to be sinking back down towards the floor. I call it the dessert pose because it's the best part. So I hope you learned a lot about yoga, and I hope that you enjoyed your networked learning project too.